welcome to the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education special meeting for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. Has this meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has.
Would you please call the roll?
Carlin? Evans?
Here.
Garner?
Here.
Herzog?
Here.
Olmsted?
Here.
Heschel?
Here.
Salachi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The purpose of this special meeting at 5:30 tonight, preceding our regular meeting, which will start at 6 p.m., is to address the Smith Elementary School bid opening results. And joining us at the table is our Executive Director of Business Services, Susan Schnorr.
And prior to her going to this event, if I may advise the board, we did receive one bid electronically via email. And so we will be consulting with legal counsel to ensure that it is a viable bid.
Okay.
Okay. Did we print it and we have it then?
We have it. We
Yes.
are going to announce it tonight.
Okay.
As
Okay.
part
We do have
of that
to double check.
process. I just
Okay.
want, upon advisement with legal counsel, we just want to make sure that the board is aware that they will make the determination as to whether or not it's considered to be a viable bid or not.
And we just got that today?
No, we did it within.
It was on time.
Within the
It was on time.
Timeframe?
That's because they were
Okay.
supposed to be sealed
Yep,
and
right,
emails that.
okay.
So,
It may.
may or may not.
Correct.
Bids were due yesterday by 4 o'clock.
Right.
Both bids came in on time.
Okay.
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 All right, Mrs. Schnorr?
The first bid is from Timothy Hess from Insta Analytics, and the bid was for $358,000.
can you say that number again, please?
358,000. And the other bid is from Dave Vianola. Need to find where the bid number is. I'm sorry, I didn't know it. 450,000. Those are the two bids.
And we just got the two bids? Sue? Just the two bids?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, there are obviously a number of pages that were submitted, and we did have some provisions that we hoped that would be addressed. One I know had to do with the integrity of the architecture of the exterior of the building.
Correct.
And I don't recall what the other one was, but there were at least two.
There was to preserve the integrity of the outside facade of the building and preserve the historical significance of the building.
Okay. So, under Wisconsin law, it is appropriate for the board, in terms of deliberating or negotiating the purchase or sale of public properties, for us to discuss this in executive session, which we are noticed to do this evening. And I believe we also indicated as part of the bid process, that we hope to be able to award the project on the first meeting in November, which I think is the 6th of November? Okay. So that will be our timeline moving forward. Do any of the board members have any questions related to the process at this point? Any comments to be made?
I have one
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry, Mr. Pesh, I didn't see your hand up.
No, that's all right. In your opinion, stop me if I'm treading water here. Do these bids meet the parameters of which we laid out.
She
Outside-
just opened it.
I just
No,
don't.
no, no. Oh, okay, you just did.
Because
Okay,
it was
that's
a
fine.
sealed bid process, you're not supposed, I didn't have the authority to open them prior to this opening.
Prior to
So-
5:30.
Right,
So no one has
so
read
even though
Got
the
it all.
one was.
That's fine.
Even though the one was emailed to me, all I did was print it out and made copies for the board. And this one that was actually in a sealed envelope, I physically just opened it just now, and there's probably 20 pages in here.
Okay.
just thought you were really unprepared for that.
No, no, no. I didn't. I guess I didn't. That's fine. We're good. Thank you.
Okay.
And with other sales of public properties, typically attorneys are involved. So between now and November 6th, that would give us time as a board to make sure we have everything in order prior to finalizing a sale.
That bid.
Any other questions or comments about process at this time? All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn this special meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The Oshkosh Board of Education is currently in a break. For a schedule of all Gov TV programming, visit our website at oshkoshmedia.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. Has this meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has.
Please call the roll.
Carlin?
Here.
Evans?
Here.
Garner?
Here.
Herzog?
Here.
Olmsted?
Here.
Peschel?
Present.
Szilagyi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. This evening we have two fifth graders from Oaklawn Elementary School who have taken time out of their evening to join us along with their mothers. The two students are Jasmine Bang and Alea Sheehy, who are going to lead us in the pledge. So we'd invite them to come forward at this time. The main reason we are here as a school board and for the reason that we exist as a school district are because of students. So it's always important to us to have students at our meetings. So Jasmine, I want to thank you for coming with your mom tonight so you could lead us in the pledge. Thank you very much. And Alea, thank you and your mom for coming and joining us tonight. You're welcome to stay for our meeting, but if you have other things to do, we certainly understand. So thank you again. The next item on our agenda is recognition of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards 2019 Business Honor Roll. We are honoring tonight Oshkosh Corporation. This is an opportunity that the Wisconsin Association of School Boards provides every year to recognize businesses that have made a significant contribution to their local school districts. And so as a representative of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, its Executive Director John Ashley, and this school board, the Oshkosh Area School District, it is my pleasure that we honor Oshkosh and recognize Oshkosh Corporation tonight by providing them with a special certificate. It represents what Oshkosh Corporation has done to be included in the 2019 Wisconsin Association of School Boards Business Honor Roll. Businesses help the Oshkosh Area School District in many ways, including donating to scholarship programs, providing mentorship opportunities for students, delivering presentations to classes or schools, and volunteering in the schools, and so much more. It's really impossible to briefly describe all that Oshkosh Corporation does for our school district. The School to Work program, for example, provides students with real work experience during their high school years. Students qualify for the programs as juniors, and by the time they graduate, most likely they will have jobs waiting for them. The district also has a youth apprenticeship program with Oshkosh Corp, which allows students to explore career paths in both manufacturing and engineering. The company provides time and talent to our WAVE robotics team and has done so, I believe, since the inception, which I believe goes back to about 2008, so it's been a long-standing partnership. Oshkosh Corporation employees serve as mentors to our students in that program, and work with them throughout the school year. In fact, they have a STEM team that works with our students, parents, and the community in a variety of ways, such as hosting STEM nights across the district in our schools. They also sponsor Project Grill, which stands for Growing Readiness in Learning and Leading. This program allows students to explore and experience hands-on learning and technical competencies associated with foundational engineering and manufacturing skill sets. I think many of us in this room, including the board members and the executive team members, have benefited from Project Grill in a personal way because we participated in the annual hot dog and hamburger and bratwurst presentation. Jody Larson is here tonight from Oshkosh Corp to accept this certificate. Jody serves as the Vice President of Community Engagement, and we are so delighted that she was able to come tonight and represent Oshkosh Corporation for tonight's recognition. We thank you, and we thank Oshkosh Corporation for all you do to make a positive difference in the lives of our students and thus in our community. Thank you very much. Thank you. So it's my pleasure, on behalf of the Wisconsin Association of School Board of Directors, John Ashley, their Executive Director, and this school board, to thank you and Oshkosh. Thank you so very much. Very much. You're welcome.
And maybe just a couple words, if I would.
Oh, please.
But obviously we couldn't do it without all of you, right? The programs that we have wouldn't be successful with the partnership, so we really look forward to that. And as we continue to grow in this community, bring more of that to what we have. So thank you for all your time and commitment also.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is board and administrative reports, the board president report. Once again, I am just so pleased with the many successes that we have the opportunity to celebrate in this district each and every day. The many positive things that go on in classrooms, the hard work and dedication of our teachers and their students in turn. In addition to what goes on in the classroom, there are many very public displays of student success. Some of us who have recently attended high school football games witnessed the annual competition between West and North high school football teams on the gridiron. And at that event, we've had the opportunity to see the summer school marching band. We also had a chance to see the rejuvenated Oshkosh North marching band, the dance teams that perform at that event, meaning the football games, and also the pom-pom girls. Last week was the West-North volleyball game over at West High School. That was a very lively event, and lots of students were there to cheer on their fellow classmates. Last week, I also attended the West Choir concert and the North Choir concert, both very impressive in terms of what the students have accomplished in 7 weeks. And a very moving tribute was noted at both of those events for the late Mr. James Dorschner, longtime band director at North High School, which was very touching, but beautiful concerts. Finally, another event that Mrs. Carlin and I attended on Saturday was at Rainbow Park. Sydney Supley, who was a 2019 graduate of Oshkosh North High School, she had won awards for conference. She received conference recognition and state recognition, as well as the Gatorade Softball Player of the Year Award for her successes on the softball field. The event on Saturday was to recognize the new softball field that is erected over in Rainbow Park. And that was very exciting because it's a softball park that is available to anyone in the community any time of day. I don't think there are lights, so it may be difficult to play in the dark, but it's a beautiful softball field. And this young woman, a graduate of Oshkosh North, with support in the community, raised over $100,000 to make this possible. And so we just have so many positive things going on in this district, and I think we should make sure that we take note to recognize them. I'm sure I've missed some. I'm just sharing with you some of the things I attended, but I know there were many other positive things going on in the last 2 weeks as well. Next week, Wednesday, the board has the opportunity to attend Region 7 Wisconsin Association of School Boards annual meeting, which is in Neenah. So I hope I will be joined by more than one of you at that event. It's always a good opportunity to learn and grow as a board. So with that, I will turn this over to Superintendent Cartwright for her good news report and her calendar.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, we have a wonderful way to start right away with our 4th and 5th graders from the Alps Charter School recently enjoyed a field trip to the Kettle Moran State Forest. Students were able to study the glacial features of Wisconsin as a part of their rock cycle unit. Lakeside Elementary School students recently participated in the National Walk to School Day by walking at school. The school joined in the national celebration to help students understand that walking is fun, healthy, and can foster a great sense of community. Kindergartners at Carl Traeger Elementary School recently learned about disease prevention and the importance of hand washing. The valuable lesson was made possible by the school's PAL, Mercy's Hospital. We're grateful for all of the local businesses that serve as partners at Learning, or PALs, for our schools. And right now, it is definitely high gear for a cold season, so everybody please wash your hands 2 minutes or longer and warm to hot water. Carl Traeger Elementary and Middle Schools were recently selected for the Subaru Loves Learning initiative and received 150 science books. Students were so excited to receive the books, and teachers were already busy planning projects using those books. A big thank you to Subaru Loves Learning for this generous donation. The Oshkosh North Student Council recently hosted a retiree luncheon for former staff members. It was so nice to have these wonderful retirees back at North High. South Park Middle School, in collaboration with their business pal, Downtown Rotary, held their first career exploration luncheon for 7th graders. They were also able to learn more about a career in chemical engineering while enjoying a pizza lunch. Community One students visited 8 neighborhood associations and conducted a gallery walk as a part of a recent project. The tours showed the social connectedness of these associations and highlighted the role they play and work together for changes and improvements such as neighborhood safety, beautification, and social activities. I had the honor of going to this event this morning and probably putting a whole bunch of students on the hot seat, as you might say, but they were so articulate and were able to answer my questions thoroughly. We're very proud of these students. This year, 21 students graduated from 2 summer certified nursing assistant classes sponsored by the Oshkosh Rotary and Ascension Mercy, and 2 of our students recently began their youth apprenticeships at Parkview Healthcare Center. Oshkosh West High School students recently toured both the Military Veterans Museum and the Oshkosh Public Museum. Being able to go on this type of field trip truly connects students to the community, and the impact of the visits enhances learning and provides long-lasting memories. Staff from the Oshkosh Boys and Girls Club recently partnered with Oshkosh Corp School to Work program to help students develop and refine their resumes. We are so grateful for this partnership and the valuable experiences these students are receiving. Congratulations to Grace Miller, a junior at Oshkosh North High School. Grace recently tied for 12th place at the state golf tournament in Madison. Grace shot a 167 in the 2-day tournament, making her the first female golfer from North to qualify for state in the history of the school.
Nice.
The Oshkosh Area School District is committed to school safety and security. One initiative that we continue to prioritize is providing professional development, training, and practice of the Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate, otherwise known as ALICE, process to help ensure students and staff safety. Recently, nearly 40 Oshkosh Area School District secretaries, after-school program personnel, and administrators became certified ALICE trainers. As superintendent, I am committed to being present and engaged in our schools and throughout Oshkosh. On the screen, you'll see just a few examples of where I've been spending my time for the past 2 weeks. I will say 2 full days, though, were committed to Alice trainings. But it was so wonderful to actually to interact with our secretaries and our after-school personnel and those kind of things. And there's some very good things I want to bring to us here, because this came rolling out this week.
A new website.
Our new website. And the beauty of this is the continuity of the website. And of course, Dr. Gunlock's going to talk about it here in just a moment, a little bit. But I wanted to make sure that we highlighted some of the things. And on the front cover here are pictures. Of course, they are of our students. In Oshkosh Area School District.
Love it.
There's continuity. Every one of our school pages have a very similar landing page as the district, if the school colors are listed on there. And it has a lot of course, we have the calendar, which is very important because oftentimes people are going, what's going on? How do I get there? So, and you can always view the full calendar just by simply clicking on View Full Calendar. We're keeping our news and announcements updated, as you can see right here, launching our new website. And of course, and we have a lot more news rolling out from there. But for parents or anyone wanting to do it, it's just a simple hover over, as you can see. We can click on any of those. So if we wanted to take a look at the board, on the board's page again. Always having the picture at the top there, and it just talks about the board and additional information. So who are our board members? I have no idea. So each of you, of course, are listed here with your pictures, how to contact you. And it continues to be just as simple as it was before. You know, if you want board meeting information or you want recordings or need anything to that effect, you'll be able to access that information right here. And everything's nice and consolidated for individuals to be able to find. In addition to that, oftentimes, you know, our parents are going, okay, I need additional information about a particular school. Well, very simply, you can just go over here, take a look at all of our school drop-downs on this, and it's just as simple as going in there and selecting the school. Excuse me here. So, for example, we'll head right over here to Merrill School. And the beauty of this is looking at our schools. It has pictures of all of our schools. For each of that, and so you will find a picture of the school right here on the front when you're going in it, and again, the top is very similar. So the layout you will find is going to be similar from school to school to school, so we have that consistency so parents and community members can have ease of access. In addition to that, down here, of course, if you know a parent want to get to their portal real fast, it's real simple. They just simply click on it. Oh, but I didn't mean to click on Merrill. How do I go back? Well, it's real simple. You can go back to the district home or just simply go to the top here, and all the schools are listed out here as well. So, you know, from Merrill being our 119-year-old school all the way to Oak Lawn being one of our brand new schools, you'll be able to see, again, the difference right there in front of you. And here's the beauty of it, is not only do we have it being available via the web, just as we see from there, but on your own phones. The ease and the use of this on our phones is extremely user-friendly.
Yay.
And everything, and so if someone wants to look at it on a tablet instead, again, they can look on it on the tablet. Phones, it will completely scale out from there. Extremely proud of the work of the committee, first off, which had our very own Stephanie Carlin on there, and helping us design this out, but also staff members, because it was a lot of time and devotion on this. I'm extremely proud of the IT team here. They did a lion's share of the heavy lifting and transferring the information onto the site. So just wanted to make sure that we give, there's a lot of people involved with it, and make sure that we give credit where credit is due.
Good.
So with that.
Very exciting, one of
Yeah.
the many more things we have to celebrate in the district.
Absolutely. And of course, over time, this will continue to get built out. You know, it's right now an infant. So please, if you're seeing something or have ideas, just reach out to us, let us know. But the beauty is now, you know, for example, there's a phone number to the district office listed on the front page. So just let us know, and we'll take the input into consideration.
So for those that are watching this meeting, could you walk them through, the one person who's watching this meeting, how they would find like their teacher contact, email, like a staff directory? Like, because that's the thing that people always ask us the first is, how do I get my teacher's, phone number and email?
Okay, so for each of the school sites, there's actually, once they scroll down to that middle section where it had the parent portal, that also had contact us, and you can list out right there, school directory. My apologies. It does not have the phone numbers listed, but it does have their emails listed on there.
Great, thank you.
And oftentimes it's because we
Right.
we try not to call into a classroom while school's in session.
Right, that makes sense, thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Gunlock, if that's okay
Very
with
good,
everyone, to
sure.
go ahead and give us an update for our listening session report, as well as our facility advisory committee update.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First off, the listening session report from the October 9th listening session. It was well attended. We had 5 individuals speak. They spoke on a variety of topics. One of the topics was on some green initiatives that some of our schools are looking at, trying to get rid of plastic sporks. Obviously, they didn't see the recent Toy Story movie. But getting rid of the sporks and going back to metal forks again. So that's an initiative being pushed by some of the parents and students, which is pretty exciting. They also talked about the shared table where food is potentially shared at a share table, and talking about some of the standard operating procedures. Obviously, there are a lot of regulations and guidelines around any food service initiative, and they were talking a lot about what some of those are. And they totally understand why we have those operating procedures, but just trying to come up with ways to make it as flexible as possible. So it was great to see them there. There was one parent who talked about our youth risk behavior survey. We currently have people who can opt out of the survey. He was advocating for a procedure where we would have people opt into the survey. And that was just a discussion that we had at that time. Another situation was around kids who are not only riding bus to school, but also wanting to ride a bike to school. And there are community members who donate their bikes, and there's community members who fix those bikes and get them going. And they wanted to talk to us about how we can publicize that in the district. And we have a process for that. We have a lot of community announcements. Our new website has a section for community announcements, and we put them in contact with Dr. Jones, who can assist them. Last but not least is a discussion around playground equipment, some of the challenges that PTOs face when raising funds for playground equipment. And what's interesting about that is you're going to see some of that in the Facility Advisory Committee update, because that echoed even into the Facility Advisory Committee. So that was our well-attended listening session, and we had really good conversations with everyone who was there. So. The next thing I have to talk to you about is the Facility Advisory Committee update. This is for our previous committee meeting that we had a short time ago. We always start these updates with the committee charge. We have been getting some questions from the community about, okay, what was the purpose behind this committee? And the purpose behind the committee was coming up with options to present to you as school board members on how do we modernize our facilities for the future, creating cost-effective facilities that are enduring end products in a 3 to 4 track and 8 to 10 track model. 3 to 4 track, once again, is 3 or 4 of each grade level at a given elementary school, and the same thing, 8 to 10 of each at the middle school level. Yes?
I'm wondering how many people show up to these meetings, because I was listening to the radio, and somebody on the radio said that he would be surprised if anybody came to these meetings. So I just wanted to set the record straight. How many people show up to these committee meetings?
Well, our committee members show up, but as far as people who are not on the committee, we've had
How many people are on the committee?
There's approximately 20 people on the committee.
Okay, so
Give or take, and obviously depending upon the schedule. But the issue in terms of, we have seats open for the public at every one of those. If you cannot make it because of your schedules or whatever, we now video all of them. They're all on our district YouTube channel, which you'll see in just a moment.
good.
So, yeah, you're welcome. So this was the October 14th meeting that we had at South Park Middle School. They hosted us. It was great. You can get to this information off of our brand new website. It's under District, and you'll see Facility Advisory Committee. If you click on that, it will take you to the Facility Advisory Committee information. It's the same information that we had on the previous website. It just looks a whole lot better. And it's a lot more searchable and works on a mobile phone. So now we have our meeting schedule, and we have the videos from all of the meetings minus the first one. You know, that was the one we did not video, but meetings 2, 3, and 4 we have. And there's also resource documents. So they can actually go through the individual PowerPoints of every single meeting if they want to. So if they're wondering what is the actual details of what's being discussed, they can look at that at any time, or they can give us a call here at the district office, and we'll be happy to talk to them. Obviously, we still have our district YouTube channel. We're going to continue to publish those videos. And these are the highlights from that meeting. So as we always do, we recap the facility advisory process, the schedule and norms. We looked at sort of a draft report that you will be getting as board members. So we're starting to construct that report as we go. The projected tax impact figures were important, and we took a look at all of those for phase 1. We also previewed what the actual survey that is currently out into the public looked like in its final form. We did revisit the facilities master plan pathway options that informed their recommendations, and you'll see some of that in just a moment. We reviewed options for investment at the elementary level as part of phase 1. Remember last time when we talked, phase 1 has multiple parts. Security upgrades, some infrastructure needed upgrades, electrical at West and North were primary in those, a new middle school, an investment at the elementary school. So we took a look at, okay, what could that potential investment look like at the elementary level? The discussion was on potential recommendations related to the fall survey. Now, mind you, the committee has not gotten the survey back because the community is currently taking the survey. So we're surveying all of our internal staff. We're surveying everyone who is a homeowner in the Oshkosh Area School District. And due to thanks in no small part to the great partnership we have with the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation and the Chamber of Commerce, we've also provided a survey link to our business owners who may not live in the district but obviously are very aware of what's happening in the school district and care a lot about our schools. Lastly, we're preparing for meeting 5, where we're going to talk a little bit about debt payment timelines, taxpayer impact graphics, exciting stuff, and district-owned land and school site adequacy. Obviously, we have a lot of property throughout the city of Oshkosh and the town of Algoma, and it's important for us to take a look at each one of those properties because each one has its own set of options that would work and some things that might not work. So that's gives you a preview of meeting 5. Now this graphic is what we call option B, and this is sort of centered around the idea of, and one of the first questions in the survey asked this, should we consolidate our schools? This has been a discussion in Oshkosh for 20 years plus in terms of we've always had a lot more schools than the normal 10,000 student school district would typically have. So we talk, and ours are, as you know, 79 years old on average. So we have to have a future-focused plan in dealing with these. So this plan right here, and you'll notice there's really no names other than West and North High School. This kind of gives you an idea of potentially how would we properly educate our kids in a 3 to 4 track elementary, 8 to 10 track middle school environment. So there's lots of different options, and that's what the Facility Advisory Committee is looking at right now. So they're looking at all the possible ways that you could set this up. So what's next? The survey is currently out there. I encourage everyone who's watching on TV or listening via the radio to look for that in their mailbox, and you can obviously complete it online. There's a unique code with each of the surveys that will help you. We are beginning to generate what we call a frequently asked questions document. As you know, with any big initiative like this, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of great information. There's always an abundance of misinformation. So we're trying to create a series of questions that we can answer for the citizens of Oshkosh. And most of those FAQs come right from emails we get from average citizens and staff members who have really great questions about how this impacts them. So the next Facility Advisory Committee is meeting 5. It's on October 28th at North High from 5:30 to 8:30. We will have spaces for anybody who wishes to attend. Sort of the rough agenda right now is debt timeline, the taxpayer impact, district land adequacy. The timelines, the draft report, we'll start looking at the Facility Advisory draft report and what that's going to look like for the board. We got a lot of updates to do on that. And the role of education, vision, and facilities in accomplishing the mission. You know, as any good story is told, it's always, you know, you sort of tell people what you're going to tell them, you tell them it, and then you tell them what you told them. We're kind of doing the same thing here with the vision. We started with a vision, we've been talking about the vision, and we're going to end cap it with a discussion of why are we doing all this? Because we feel that's the key piece. The buildings are buildings. But the key piece is what is our education vision and how does that plan enhance that vision? So that's going to be a big focal point for the next meeting. So it should be pretty exciting. And I believe that's it. If there are any questions.
If they didn't get the survey, is there someplace they can go find it?
They can just call the district office. They could contact Sherry Wirtz and she will be able to get them.
And she can just email it to them?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And there's a lot of surveys that are still out right now because it was sent through bulk mail. And so it has not hit every community just yet.
Okay.
And as bulk mail always does, it kind of goes in chunks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Good.
going out to every resident in the district.
Yes. Anybody who is a property owner in the Oshkosh Area School District.
Business and residential, or just residential?
Well, I believe it is residential, because you have to be able to vote in the referendum, and if there was one. And that is also why we provided the survey link through the Chamber of Commerce and GoEDC for those people who may not have a home in Oshkosh, but may own a business in Oshkosh. So we have a separate link for them as well. So we want to make sure we hit everyone. And once again, if somebody's listening to this and they feel like they have not gotten their survey or the ability to take the survey, just contact district office. We'll set you up.
For ease of use, could we provide that phone number here tonight that they should call?
Yes, we could. 920-424-0160.
Yes. Thank you.
Nice job, Bart.
I think I got it right. It's not, that one is not my number. That is Sherry's number.
I know that one.
I would have wanted you to give
It's the only one I know.
Somebody's number. Someone else. I'll
verify that for you real
I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's it.
Kim's
That is it? Thank you.
myself.
Good. I typed it in something this week, so it was fresh in my mind. So.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I just thought that would make it easier for anyone
Yes.
in the listening public who doesn't want to go and look it up, but they could view it online or view
Yep.
it live.
You can also, you could stop in any one of our schools at the offices and they'll be able to help you too. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Gunlar, for
You're
those
welcome.
2 reports. Very good. I know we have some committee reports because I know we've had some board committees that have met since we last met. So who would like to lead off tonight? Mrs. Olmsted.
The Policy and Governance meeting was on Monday, October 14th. The first thing we discussed, there was no public forum, and the first thing we discussed was Policy 8407, the School Resource Officer Program. It was new. Mr. Jones brought it. The new policy was previously reviewed by the committee in August of 2019, and it outlines the current memorandum of understanding between the Oshkosh Area School District and the Oshkosh Police Department for the School Resource Officer Program. Upon recommendation of the committee in August, Dr. Cartwright worked with the OPD on the portion of the policy for recommendations that the district and the OPD have such a relationship that verbal reports are provided to us on a regular basis. Another edited recommendation was including removing a space and adding the word guardian after parents, which we do most of them, and changing number 9 to read required instead of a requirement. So just little graphic or things in there. Yeah, thank you, grammar. The second policy we looked at was 0155, which is our board committee meetings. The committee would like to look at the committee, the agendas and have them all match. So each one of them are so different. They all have different graphics on it. They all have different times. Some have compliance with open meeting laws, some have agenda-related public forums, some didn't. So the recommendation of the board, or of the committee, was to use the current board's meeting, so what our current one looks like, our regular ones, and follow that same format for all of our committee meetings also. So the list would remove all the other graphics and just keep the Oshkosh Area School District logo on the top on all of them. And then the agenda list would be compliance with the open meeting law notification, roll call, agenda-related public forums, agenda items, future meeting agenda items and meeting dates, the adjourn, and then on the bottom, keeping the upcoming meetings with the dates and then the times on there too. They are bringing a draft back to our next meeting in November, and then we'll just have to vote on the new policy. Our next meeting has been moved because of Veterans Day, so our next meeting will be November 18th at 8:30 in the morning.
Any questions for Mrs. Olmsted?
I am going to be talking about Facilities and Finance Committee. We were, the first part of the meeting we discussed, the board has requested that any new positions please come in packages instead of like onesie twosies. We'd asked if they could bring them as a group, and they are doing that. And so this is the first group. They are asking for 1.0 FTE for early learning social worker. Currently, our 4K program services over 700 students, and there is no social worker at all for this group of students, and we're also seeing really high, when you don't attend school, what's that called?
Absenteeism.
Thank you, absenteeism, the opposite. And in order to address that, they wanted somebody that can work with families and with students to try to get them more engaged at the 4K level. They asked for an increase of 0.4 to 0.7 FTE for the early learning office technical position. They have additional attendance reporting requirements, and they also have an increase in initial referrals and evaluations at the early childhood level, so they need more hours. Next was 2.0 FTE at Second Chance, and this is for homebound teachers. We have 6 to 7 students who currently have behaviors that are so disruptive that they need instruction in a one-on-one setting. And so these teachers would be under Second Chance, and when they're not working with these students, they'll be located at the Second Chance facility, so they can also be part of that reintegration when and if these students are ready to move back. And then the last was 1.0 FTE Secretary for Human Resources and Payroll. Skyward has a major upgrade, which means that there's going to be a significant amount of data cleanup. And they also were talking about, since Act 10, we've had a tremendous amount of turnover, which just adds to the workload. They are seeing that they're spending about 20 grand in overtime, and so they're ready to maybe make that they're asking to make that a position between HR and business office. The second item that we discussed is the 2018-19 budget carryover. Kelly Handy presented the budget carryover to the committee. This year is going to be challenging because the DPI is now changing the way that the accounting happens, and it has to all be allotted to each building. And so now things get a little bit messy when we have people that go between buildings, and so that's there's a lot of work on their end. We had a very robust discussion about alternative budgeting options, and essentially there was no action needed by the committee since carryover has traditionally been brought to the committee before it goes to the entire board. Our next meeting will be November 21st.
Thank you, Mrs. Garner. Is there anyone else who has a committee
Yes.
report tonight? Mr. Evans.
The very first legislative committee
Nice.
met yesterday. And I was looking for little logos, but now it looks like I can't get one. We started off, since it's a new committee, we started off talking about how we want to work the committee within the guidelines that were established by the Governance and Policy Committee. And we had a brainstorming session, and we decided that we like to invite legislators to events and meetings in the district to keep them informed. Invite our representatives to meet with the committee at least once a year. And then various attending legislative meetings, working with legislators regarding district budget, signing up for the newsletters that they have and their Facebook pages so we can keep connected to them. Then we looked at what some other boards are doing through the WASB website and their resolutions, and we just kind of went through that and saw if there's anything we might want to discuss. And then we had an update on a blue ribbon panel. And one of the ones that seems to be getting a lot of attention, it passed out of committee, 8-1, and it's if you have a full-time 4K kindergarten, they want to have those students count as a complete student instead of 60% of a student. Then there is a bill that would require aid equalization payments to be distributed in equal amounts over several months instead of how it is now. And Bill 407 is a rolling start bill that would allow students to start school when they reach the age of 4, which would mean that students would constantly be starting a program that is already in progress. Other topics that we talked about, there's a possible seclusion and restraint bill that is working itself through the process. The dyslexia bill would require teachers to complete an online training through International Dyslexia Association, which is about an 8-hour online training session. Then as we were meeting, they had a public hearing on a bill yesterday, Senate Bill 494, which they're working on a revamping the energy efficiency revenue limit restoration bill. And we'll have to keep our eye on that to see how that is working its way through. Our next meeting, which will be the second meeting of the committee, would be November 26th at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. It sounds like November is going to be a busy month for committee meetings. That's a good thing. All right, any other committee reports tonight? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on to the next agenda item. That's not agenda-related public forum. We did not have anyone who signed up for that. And the following agenda item is the agenda-related public forum. We have one individual who has signed up to speak. That would be Mr. Tim Hess. We would ask that you clearly state your name and address and the topic you are choosing to address. If you are acting as a spokesperson for a particular group of individuals, please indicate the group you represent and state clearly and concisely the matters of concern. Please limit your comments to the time allotted, which would be 3 minutes. And remember that the use of specific names of district personnel could lead to legal liability. In such instances, please pursue the district's formal complaint process by contacting the superintendent's office at 424-0160. I've heard that number before tonight, to direct you to the appropriate administrator. So welcome, Mr. Hess.
Thank you. My name is Tim Hess. I live at 2645 Templeton Place here in Oshkosh. I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about the Smith School. My group was one of the groups that proposed here. I'll start off by saying that you're right, Dr. Cartwright, that the school webpage is very useful and that it pulls up on the phone, because when Ms. Schnorr mentioned that maybe our bid didn't count because we emailed, I checked. And I made sure that it said that in fact we could either email it or submit it by hand. So I'm happy that I didn't goof that one up.
We are too.
So I myself am a statistician, and as a statistician, I can appreciate when you look at things from a numerical perspective, and I understand the difference between the two bids, and I know where you go in that direction. I want to talk a little bit about our particular team, who all the members are, and point out just a few things here. So I represent a team of people here. Cal Schultz is the president of Keystone Development. He works in collaboration with Andy Dumke, who those two in partnership do North Point Development. A third member of our team is Chet Wiesenberg, an architect here in Oshkosh, and then myself. We came in and proposed one of the bids to purchase the school. We understand that the board has had issue. It wasn't an easy decision to close that school, and that you want to do something meaningful with it. I would point out, though, that one of the criterion that you have said that in this process is that we're looking to give preference to somebody who is going to meet the criterion of keeping the integrity and preserving the historical significance. So I just want to tell you about what our team's plan would be. Our team has substantial experience with doing historic preservation projects, redevelopment projects, where we take a project, we register it with the National Park Service, and get it listed on the Register of Historic Places. In this particular case, you guys have a building that was designed by William Waters, and so for us, that's extremely meaningful. So our plan is to get the building registered on Historic Places, and that means that we have to do the preservation according to the Secretary of the Interior's standards for historic preservation. If we do that project, we guarantee you that you're gonna wind up with something that is as preserved as somebody can possibly do with a historic building. We have significant experience doing that.
Oh,
We've
30
worked
seconds.
on, what?
30 seconds, please.
We worked on the Beach Building, the Washington Building. We achieved a campus award for 531 North Main Street. We know how to do it. We want to respect that building, and thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Mr. Hess.
Okay, moving on then, we have the consent resolution next. For the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background material on each item or has discussed it at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wants to discuss any item, it will be pulled out of the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. I've been asked to move remove 4B and 5 from the consent agenda. Is there any other request for a removal of an agenda item? All right, then I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Are you going to read them?
Oh,
We're
I'm
not
sorry.
reading them tonight.
I was waiting, I was like.
I was just trying to move this along. Sorry about that. The board will consider approval of 1, minutes of September 25th, 2019, regular board meeting. 2, minutes of October 9th, 2019, regular board meeting. 3, bills payable. 4, personnel. A, appointments, temporary appointments, resignations, and salaries. 6, 2020 to 2021, high school course additions, deletions, and modifications. 2019 to 2020, tax levy. Number 8, 2018 to 2019 site carryover funds, and 9, policy 8407, school resource officer programs, new policy. So we had a motion and we had a second. Thank you. Okay, please call the roll.
Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Szilagyi?
Aye.
Szilagyi, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go back to Resolution 4B. Be it resolved that the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education approve the retirement as filed with the Secretary to the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Actually, I had asked that this be pulled. We have a retirement of a longtime speech and language pathologist in the Oshkosh Area School District, Margie Metcalf, who has been employed with the district since 1993 and will be retiring at the end of the current school year. So we want to wish Marjorie all the best as she enters this new age and stage of her life. So currently she's serving at Webster Stanley Middle and Webster Stanley Elementary, but I know she's served at a variety of other schools in addition to the current assignment. So we thank Marjorie and wish her the best. Any other comments? Please call the roll.
Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Szilagyi?
Aye.
Szilagyi, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. Resolution 5, be it resolved that the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education approve the addition of the following positions starting in the 2019-2020 school year. 1.0 FTE Oshkosh Early Learning Social Worker, 2.0 FTE Second Chance Homebound Teachers, and 1.0 FTE Secretary Human Resources Payroll, and the increase from a 0.5 0.4, I'll get this right yet, FTE to a 0.7 FTE Oshkosh Early Learning Office Technical, and a 1.0 FTE Interim Director of Special Education as filed with the Secretary to the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All right, a discussion. Dr. Cartwright, I believe you wanted to weigh in on this.
I just wanted to apprise the board of some additional information related to the interim director of special education position, only because of the commitment that I've given to this board to ensure that we are in an honest and earnest effort, always giving you positions together rather than piecemealing it and such. Wanted to make sure that you're aware is that my intent at this point in time not to fill that position directly. It's more an event that if there comes a need here and then if there happens to be an immediacy of the need, it gives me the flexibility to fill that position.
Okay.
I want to duly note that Junko Jacobs, who is currently serving in the interim assistant director position of special education, is doing an outstanding job. She's had to take on a lot of information in a very short amount of time. And a lot of team members have been working with her, and she's been appropriately reaching out to others and when needed in order to ensure that we are handling things appropriately. But again, I just wanted to let you be aware why we were putting in here, or why did you do it now. It has nothing to do with Junko's performance, but again, it's my effort of putting packages together like you had requested when I first came here. So I just wanted to add the addendum information for your knowledge.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks.
Cartwright. Is there any other discussion on this agenda item number 5? All right, please call the roll.
Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Solaji?
Aye.
Solaji, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Individually considered resolutions, I don't believe we have any this evening. Are there any requests for additional agenda items? Any announcements? I just wanted to thank Dr. Cartwright and the executive team for recognizing the board during Board Recognition Week 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Where we were presented with cards and very meaningful messages, roses, and a cake. And my roses actually lasted until yesterday, so
Yeah.
I don't know what got into them, but they did a very fine job. And, so anyway, we appreciate that recognition, so thank you all. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. We have 3 items on the list. Number 1 would be deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session under Wisconsin Statute 19.85 parend 1 parend E. A, Smith Elementary School bids. 2, considering the disciplinary data of specific persons under Wisconsin Statute 19.85 parend 1 parend F under Wisconsin statutes. A, review expulsion recommendation from expulsion hearing officer for a middle school student who engaged in conduct while at school or under the supervision of a school authority which endangered the property, health, or safety of others, who while not at school or while not under the supervision of a school authority engaged in conduct which endangered the property, health, or safety of others at school, or under the supervision of a school authority, and who engaged in conduct constituting repeated refusal or neglect to obey the rules under Wisconsin Statute 120.13, parend 1, parend C, parend E. And B, review expulsion recommendation from expulsion hearing officer for a high school student who engaged in conduct while at school or while under the supervision of a school authority which endangered the property, health, or safety of others, who while not at school or while not under the supervision of a school authority engaged in conduct which endangered the property, health, or safety of others at school, or under the supervision of a school authority, endangered the property, health, or safety of any employee or school board member of the school district in which the pupil is enrolled, and who engaged in conduct constituting repeated refusal or neglect to obey the rules under Wisconsin Statute 120.13, parend 1, parend C, parend E.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Peschel?
Aye.
Peschel, aye. Solaji?
Aye.
Solaji, aye. Carlin?
Aye.
Carlin, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Motion carried.
And with that, our regular meeting is adjourned for October 23rd. Thank you all very much.